2 series, 2 best of 3s, 2-3 games. We got ourselves another decider coming into the quarterfinals, and we are unfortunately going to have to say goodbye to one of our EU Masters representatives.
But the LFL is going to be extremely happy because one LFL team will be guaranteed in
Exactly.
the finals.
Exactly. They are guaranteed a minimum a semi-final, which as a region makes you feel good. Of course, we did see Gamer Legion knock out another SLO team, meaning that there will be no SLO teams in the top 4 for the first time ever in EU Masters history. There's been 6 of them, and they will not have an SLO representative. But we're into the LFL.
I was about to say, lucky for GamersOrigin and LDLC, whoever moves forward, they're not from the SLO.
Exactly.
So
they're from the DACH region, of course, and we're going to see how these bans go. And these ones are a lot slower this time. I feel like both teams going to be taking their time to really figure out what is important for us.
while they're taking the time, I'm just going to say that Skarner has been played 6 times in EU Masters. He has an 100% win rate in the tournament.
Wow, okay. So a very high priority on this champion right now.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it first picked right here for bluezor.
It could be a bit of a first pick. Of course, you do leave open Orianna for Vetheo. Has got that in his wheelhouse to maybe deny it away from toucouille. It has obviously been something that GamersOrigin have been very adamant about, of getting toucouille a very comfortable matchup, regardless of everything else. So overall, we'll have to see how the draft adapts, because right now it's looking the exact same as the first 2 games for GamersOrigin.
Yep, Kalista being the last ban versus
Yep.
SMILEY as well. So is it going to be for the 3rd time an Orianna first pick?
No.
No, it's not, because the 100% win rate bell is ringing.
Yeah, and you absolutely called it. Going to put a priority onto that Skarner in the first pick role. But now, LDLC, you've got yourselves options. You've got yourselves
Ashe?
an Ashe. Yes, you do have
Orianna.
yourself an Ashe, but you could go towards the Orianna. You could maybe even go towards a jungle pick to try and go into the Skarner, but the Orianna works here. So now we're going to finally see toucouille onto something different this series.
So here's the thing. The champions that toucouille has played, he had 6 unique champions as well when this series started. He had played LeBlanc, Syndra, Zoe, Cassio, and Akali. With Akali being banned, the other 4 are up and available for him. Is he gonna choose to go for the Cassio?
I feel like he could go for something else as well. Syndra, very safe blind pick into the Orianna. We saw how well Vetheo did use that pick in the first game, despite LDLC losing that one. And we're kind of seeing a couple of very similar matchups, but people are just kind of swapping and trading stuff right now. It's kind of like, all right, you take the Orianna, all right, I'll take the Syndra. It's like, all right, you take the Ashe, I'm going to take the Caitlyn again. It just seems to be swapping all the time.
I think it sort of fits them. Do it.
You have so
Just
much on
do
the Shen.
it.
You have so much on the Shen. They've done it. It's locked in. And this is something that we were talking about in the break. The lack of Shen priority was kind of missing in this series.
No bans, no picks at all in the entire series. I feel that Shen is such an empowering champion because if he ends up in the bot lane, it's a strong engage tool, and you can also help your side lanes whenever they're in trouble by having that global cooldown. And of course, if it's in the top lane or the jungle, you can help globally around the entire of the map. I really like the globals. We haven't seen necessarily too much Twisted Fate, which coming from the NLC was even a pick or ban. It's fallen down in the priority list, but Shen doesn't necessarily have too many bad matchups, and I really like it here. Wherever it lands, whether it's TynX, Bando, or YellOwStaR, I think it's gonna do great.
And that's the beauty of this pick and why it became such a power pick for so many teams during this tournament, is that it is a massive flex. You can put it into the River Shen, you can put it in the traditional top, or it can go into the hands of the bot lane, and it roughly does the same things that you want it to do. So overall, I feel like this is a fantastic adaptation coming out from LDLC. They do finish off their bans as pretty standardly as they possibly can. You get the Morgana and the Maokai.
Same thing every single time.
In fairness to them, the games have been relatively close, so I don't think the draft has ever been an issue for them. It's more about execution when in-game.
Absolutely agree right here. And you would, depending on where, I was about to say, we will get the reply on where the Shen is going, which means it's either top lane or jungle. Either TynX or Bando are getting the counter pick right here. Reminder, the Wukong is still up and available. It's something that Bando was able to help turn the game around in game number 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if TynX was taking either jungle, Zanzara style, if you will, and have something like the Wukong again in the top side.
Yeah. A lot of people on Twitter get very angry when you talk about Shen jungle. You don't mention Zanzaro. Very angry. But I say I played Shen jungle yesterday, and I did
Who
it.
gets angry, Zanzara or the people?
The people. They get angry for him. You know
Why?
Because it's Twitter. I don't make the rules.
Rude.
I just make the rule. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. But last pick for this support is going to be potentially the Nautiluls and the Ornn coming in here for GamersOrigin, looking for that front-to-back team fight. Tanks in the front, damage in the back, try and just plow through LDLC.
I mean, GamersOrigin don't necessarily have to do anything else. It's worked for them up to that sort of mid-game state where they lost it all in one team fight. It had worked to them up to then. So I don't see why change it. You mentioned it yourself. It was the execution that lacked towards the end part of the game. So now they're getting their stuff together. They know what they did wrong. They've changed it, and they're moving in with the same playstyle. Loving the Zac bar.
Zac has a hell of a lot of a long range engage, pretty much from level 2 onwards. Has got a lot of priority in his lane. Of course they do, but I'm thinking more just about before level 6. That's when the engage actually comes in.
I'm thinking Ornn Bard ult into Zac ult with the ball from the Orianna for the shockwave, at the Ashe for a little bit of salt for that CC lockdown. You've got a perfect teamfight composition coming in from LDLC as well. We're in for another brawl.
Another brawl, another game where both these sides have drafted to be really looking for those big, massive level 6 team fights. And hell, we saw it even before it was at level 2 to 4, and they were still looking for team fights. So overall, they're fighting for their lives now in this series. It's winner takes all in this one now. They have to come and they can't leave anything behind.
And Penguin, if you had to go with one of these two teams, I'm going to ask you, is it going to be GamersOrigin or is it going to be LDLC? Does LDLC have the momentum coming in from the previous game, or did GamersOrigin learn from their mistakes?
We'll have to wait and see as we jump onto Summoner's Rift.
Spicy prediction?
I have no predictions. I am the play-by-play monkey brain who tells you how everything is happening on the screen real fast. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the Rift for the final time today as GamersOrigin go up against their brothers and sisters on the other side of LDLC in the LFL. And again, I don't expect level 1 shenanigans, but I've seen so much in this series so far that I would not be surprised to see someone go for some crazy lane swap, but at the moment, it does look like just fanning out.
I think what we're seeing here from the side of LDLC that I really like is YellOwStaR in his true roaming form. He's playing the bot. It's something that he's known for, playing in the LFL as well as here in EUMAS as well. He does have one bad game, which was actually a win. And it's actually one of these roaming champions that enables anyone into the map. You can lock down people. You can actually invade the jungle and get out scar-free. I just want to see how YellOwStaR is going to look to utilize that bot on the map.
All eyes on YellOwStaR, one of the most veteran players in the world of League of Legends, has been around since the very early days of Season 1. Finds himself now looking at doing what has never been done before, back-to-back championships. And to get to do that in EU Masters, you got to take down the team in front of you in the quarterfinals, that is GamersOrigin. But overall, see how it all pans out. GamersOrigin feeling confident, SMILEY on his 3rd Caitlyn of the day. Exakick on his 3rd Ashe of the day. It's basically been a difference in supports, really, if anything. But both these AD carries have had pretty good single games coming into this.
And as you can see, Hustlin and SMILEY leashed for bluezor onto that Skarner, which means they lose the level 2 battle into the lane and they're getting pressured by Exakick and YellOwStaR, which is something that has not happened at all in this series.
Very, very important to see how this game has developed, how this series has developed. And you can see the differences between the best of 1, best of 3, coming up towards the best of 5 in the final. It's very, very important to see how these teams develop. But bluezor has been spotted going into the blue side of LDLC.
This is the exact same move bluezor has done all 3 games.
No.
Difference is his bot lane does not have the push. He's all alone.
And Vetheo is coming in here now as well. bluezor flashes over. They're going to look for the stretching strike to land on the 2 people. They will get it. The ignite is down. He's ticking over. They are going to get SMILEY to flash away. He has got cleanse, but has he got enough in the tank to get him out? He does, as HustlinbeasT gets stunned, but not enough damage overall. Thought it was going to be enough, but again, it is going to be first blood to LDLC. Beautiful ward to catch that out.
It all starts the minute the red buff spawns. SMILEY and HustlinbeasT try to help bluezor with his buff, means they're delayed getting into lane. Exakick and YellOwStaR get the perma push down, and bluezor goes for the same move, but this time without support from his team.
See exactly here, that perfect word. Thank you very much, observers.
You didn't even have to spot him. He does the same thing every single time level 3. This time, LDLC are pulling in resources from their bot lane. bluezor realizes a little bit too late, and he's like, fine, we're gonna try to turn a sticky situation into a tricky situation for LDLC. Then again, you have the numbers advantage with Vetheo coming in from the mid lane as well. One member ends up going down, fortunately for bluezor team, and now he's the one playing catch-up for the first time in the series.
It's a game of junglers. It's been the game of, TynX versus bluezor, and both of them playing this Skarner, one each. bluezor obviously getting the second shot at it in this series. They did prioritize it. But a great read from LDLC, like you said, able to kind of put that pressure down, maybe make bluezor rethink his pathing, rethink his early game. And you can see him there. He's hitting in his horn, he's going, he's not going. He doesn't really know where he needs to be right now.
He's looking for the respawn in the Wraiths, and he knows that if he stays too long, he's going to get flanked by the Zac and the Orianna, so you can't necessarily stay too stable at static at one spot at a time. You need to farm up, you need to try and catch up, you cannot wait around for the Zac.
And with Bando pushed in as well, would be a very, very dangerous situation, I imagine, for the little Skarner. Tiny little scorpion running around. He doesn't mean no harm.
You really think so?
I believe so.
No.
I believe he's more afraid of you than you are of it. Yeah.
You tried to persuade me about that for wasps. I dare you to persuade me about wasps as well.
It's true. You just leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. Unless you're like, actively trying to stop them from food or something. But anyway, I seem to go into these very weird tangents quite a little bit. But in the mid lane, toucouille coming up against Vetheo. We actually seen this matchup in the reverse in the sense the first game, YellOwStaR, the man you pointed out as the guy who's now on a very hard roaming champion, now looking to try and make his influence known.
Remember, bluezor is the one playing catch-up now, so you can try and take YellOwStaR off his lane. His Ignite is gonna back up unavailable, which means if Zac and Bard find you, Bard can output a large amount of damage. Look at mid.
There we go. It was all a bait. It was all a ruse, and they get the shockwave. Vetheo picks himself up a kill. And GamersOrigin find themselves on the receiving end as just some great wards and some great positioning from LDLC.
Oh, look at Shemek.
Shemek gonna jump onto Bando. We'll get the brittle proc as well. Bando is gonna get knocked up, but should not go down because he has got the shield. There's a big wave, so he doesn't want to go just back just yet, but overall, Shemek feeling confident in this matchup.
So, when I see Vetheo, I see a player who's capable to play every single playstyle there is. He played the Syndra, which is an aggressive mage, very well in lane. He played the Zoe, who's a more laid-back champion and poke kind of thing. And Vetheo is playing now the Orianna, who's more of a chill back and farm, and I'll come back later, and my shockwaves are going to mean a lot. He's played all three to perfection. When I think of toucouille, I think of a player who's more laid back, who wants to scale, who doesn't want to be involved too much in the early game because it's all about the bot lane for GamersOrigin and just wants to be left alone in lane and farm. With the Syndra, you need to abuse the power you're given early into the game. Having this early power spike, the Luden's Echo versus the Seraphs. For Vetheo, you need to actually abuse that. TynX abusing bot lane.
Yeah, he's going to try and go for it. They have got the cleanse available to SMILEY, but he has no flash, therefore nowhere to go. Great taunt on top of the stand united means 2 quick kills, and we're looking at a nearly 2,000 gold lead at 7.5 minutes for LDLC.
I think I asked you earlier on, are LDLC on a momentum from the previous win? Have GamersOrigin learned? The answer is yes on the first one, no on the second one. GamersOrigin look way too scattered around the map. The bot lane is getting beaten up from level 1. Remember the domino effect. You pull from the Skarner, you lose prio, and since then that bot lane has repeatedly been shoved in, and this is where it all starts from GamersOrigin. Now bluezor, you're all alone on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, gonna get his shockwave, and this is the power of the Zac, using those stretching strikes to perfection. and the elastic slingshot to get him in. And this was the engage I talked about with the Zac. You don't have to wait till level 6. You have so much pre-level 6 that GamersOrigin have no response.
We've had doubts. We're saying that TynX was constantly falling behind bluezor. bluezor was the superior jungler in the specific best of 3. Well, guess what? TynX has woken up. 5 kills, 8 minutes in. He's been a part of all 5. All due to him have gone down for the side of LDLC. Him and YellOwStaR bundling up. Hustling, what are you doing there?
HustlinbeasT has got flash. They do miss the enchanted crystal arrow, but he's going to flash himself onto the blast cone and get himself out. But overall, it feels like GamersOrigin are lost right now. And toucouille with no mana. What are you doing there, my friend? You can't stay in that mid lane. Let's bounce and have some fun and send you to the green screen. This is turning into a decimation of GamersOrigin.
I actually don't know what to say here. It feels like GamersOrigin are completely scattered around the map. When the bot lane doesn't get going, nothing else gets going. toucouille on a more aggressive pick seems to be overextending, trying to get the trades in. Doesn't necessarily suit him too much, specifically into this game. And it all seems so lost in the map. The only one who hasn't died yet is Shemek in the top lane, but he's not necessarily having the best time being shot underneath his tower, because that means he's not allowed to TP in a fight. What? Speaking
of which, he's going to try TP in right now. They're going to pop down the Bard ultimate as Temper Fate does keep him alive, but Exakick is now dead. YellOwStaR forced to flash outside of the Forge God, but he's actually just kiting around nicely here. Does he take down Shemek? No, he does not. They get 2 kills. They commit a hell of a lot to it, though, and overall, GamersOrigin finally showing life.
Literally, as we mentioned, Shemek not being allowed the time to TP down bot lane, he steps away from the farm to create that situation for GamersOrigin down the bot lane. They see the opening down the bot lane, great but ult from YellOwStaR, but it wins time for Shemek to come in and finish the deal. They get the numbers advantage bot lane. I think they grab a kill onto their Caitlyn, which is extremely important for GamersOrigin. Feed SMILEY, happy GamersOrigin.
Finally, GamersOrigin looking like they actually have some kind of a response to LDLC.
They look like they're alive.
Exactly, but it looked like just for a moment there, like LDLC were just constantly punching them in, and there was nothing that GamersOrigin could do. They still have life in them. They're still in this series. But again, it's going to be around those kind of split-second decisions that they need to try and get tempo back.
Vetheo has been the winning factor, I feel like, for LDLC in the LFL as well. Whenever he's ahead, LDLC are able to find these victories, and here on every single champion he's played has been ahead of toucouille. He has managed to find the kills, has managed to feed himself, and right here he has a Seraphs that has been stacking from way too early, which means he will find his spike way earlier, where the Syndra will not be able to match anymore.
And LDLC, after taking the Rift Herald as the bot came in, and so many people committed to it, they're getting themselves all the plates and the turret at the bot side, as SMILEY now picking himself up some more gold in the top. Very, very easy trade for them. It will be obviously a lot longer for them to be able to take that one. So we have a quick look at the gold. It's only about 300 or so, but enchanted crystal arrow. So the observers always do this. They try to bait you out because there's no one up top side, and it's absolutely no one going to hit it. I know your game, observers. I know your game. I see you.
No.
They try to build you up. They kind of go, is it going to hit? Because the observers are watching it, and then it just goes nowhere.
Everyone's pinging help mid lane, and toucouille unfortunately has to back there. I just want everyone to pay attention to all the wards in the bot quadrant of bluezor's jungle. There is not a single spot that anyone can hide in from the side of GamersOrigin that LDLC will not see them from.
Anyone on GamersOrigin sneezes in that jungle,
LDLC
They'll know about it. They'll know exactly what's going on.
No sneezing with COVID around.
Of course.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Wear a mask. Coming obviously into 12 minutes into the game, we're still looking at a 2,500 gold lead. They just picked themselves up the second Drake of the game. That does mean we are going to see ourselves with a Mountain Soul and a Mountain Rift. But overall, it feels like GamersOrigin have stabilized. They've got themselves back into a little bit of control, and they're not just bleeding out kills like they were about 4 or 5 minutes ago.
I'm just extremely worried because that Syndra is way behind. She's 1 level behind. She hasn't even got a Ludenseko. Seraphs is slowly but surely, thank you, gets in there for Vetheo, and the Shockwave is going to be much more impactful than an actual Scut of the Week. What toucouille is going to be able to save his team from is this blue man that looks like a wave diving in. He has a quick Scut of the Week, he can stop TynX from doing that to SMILEY.
I like that play a lot. SMILEY forced the flash as the shockwave was coming in, was almost certain death for him had he been hit by it. And that just sets up, again, the next 4 or 5 minutes of this next, kind of few plays from LDLC. You know that Caitlyn does not have a flash. You land on top of her with that super long elastic slingshot that TynX has. You have so much to do. You have so much to play with.
Also, Caitlyn without flash, it will make it much easier for YellOwStaR to ult first and then create a little bit of time for the setup with the Zac to go in. It's just so easy right now for LDLC to do whatever they want on the map, specifically with no summoners onto SMILEY. Again, we said, if anyone's going to carry GamersOrigin in the early game, it is going to be that bot lane. Luckily for them, Stormrazor has been completed, Luden's Echo completed onto toucouille. I want to see GamersOrigin starting to make plays.
Probably won't see them making any plays for about 3 minutes and 5 seconds as a dragon is not available. Turret plates have also fallen, so it'll probably just be a trade of farm around the map. And overall, I don't really see them kind of risking anything until they feel very comfortable about the, the vision setup and that they're ready to actually take on that fight.
We will probably see the next fight being in the topside river around Shelly. There's a lot of wards set up down from LDLC, and you see that they're playing towards that side.
Oh, they have to force a cleanse out of SMILEY as he hit straight in the face with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but HustlinbeasT is just absolutely killed off on the side. The taunt comes in underneath the tower as toucouille is dead as well. Everyone's just jumping in, the Bard and the Zac on the backside, but they've kind of left things out to dry. He will go into a cell division, but he's going to be fine, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about him at all. And that is just, again, 2 swift, clean kills coming up from LDLC. And not only that, they burn so many summoners. And oh, what are you doing there, Shemek? There's no need, there's no reason, and you're going to be sacrificed to LDLC for just wanting to try and protect your tower.
5,000 gold in the lead, 15 minutes in. It looks so dire right now for GamersOrigin. Mind you, that's GamersOrigin engaging this. There is no teleport on your own. He's your engager slash your frontliner, and he's the one missing. Meaning that LDLC will take this fight whenever they want. They single out SMILEY, which means he can't output damage in the backline of LDLC. And LDLC is having a party on the map. Vetheo even loses his shockwave. Doesn't even matter.
It was slapping them with the wallet right there as LDLC just found the perfect team fight. And even as you said, look at the difference in mid lane. It's 2,500 gold. It's just feeling so dire right now. And I just don't, honestly, I just don't even know. The jungle and the mid are literally the only difference in gold. Jungle mid diff is what this game is as of right now.
I feel like LDLC baited GamersOrigin into my statistics of Skarner being 100% win rate, because it was more about toucouille playing the champion that suits more his playstyle rather than bluezor having the Skarner, because we saw him having a stellar early game with the Trundle as well. So baited into that decision, LDLC pull out the Zac, and he has seemed so valuable. He's been in 7 out of 9 kills for LDLC. TynX has been everywhere.
Someone we highlighted very much so at the start of this series, really coming through for his team is toucouille. It's just trying to see if he can blow up this Shen. Bando, not really fussed, has got himself
just a stat check.
Yeah, just a stat check. Like, can I kill you now? No, maybe later. Maybe later, but again, this is kind of what they're left to for GamersOrigin. They're kind of left to that kind of situation of, can we actually fight? There's a Shemek possibly caught out here. Another great stretching strike means they are going to keep him locked up pretty damn consistently. They have no real kind of follow-up damage, though, as on the other side, Bando going to land the taunt there. Shadow dashes himself away. Should be able to get himself underneath the tower. And nothing lost there. However, another tower picked up by LDLC.
Yeah, I saw a lot of ultimates being burned right there from TynX using his ultimate, making the commitment down bot lane. At the end of the day, I thought LDLC surely are losing something across the map, but it's not going to be the case. They're going to get the 3rd dragon. They're going to put themselves on soul point. And if GamersOrigin couldn't kill anyone before, with the Mountain Soul, LDLC will be invincible.
Looking very positive for LDLC. The current EU Masters champions, the 3rd seed coming out from the LFL. But GamersOrigin, they didn't get into this tournament for, looking pretty. They didn't come in here to just, participate. How do they come back into this? How do you want to see them really put, LDLC back on the back foot and try and crawl back into this game?
I really like the approach that we're taking with toucouille on a side lane, trying to farm his way to more items while being shadowed by bluezor. We have seen a lot of times that Bando overextends sometimes, and usually the top laner is the recipient of the comeback. Before, it was Shemek onto the Ornn, now it has to be Bando. If you're gonna cash in, he has a very juicy shutdown bounty as well. Try to get him down, alleviate some of the pressure basically is the answer. Try to play with numbers advantage, so pick someone on the side lane.
It just feels right now, even before the Quicksilver Sashes have kind of been picked up and spent the money on, it just feels
They
like...
don't need them.
That's what I'm saying. The bluezor just hasn't really found an opportunity to use his Impale, use that power that Skarner gives you of, you know, a suppression to bring someone closer and move them away from where they've been previously positioned. I want to see more from him. I want to see him kind of do what he did in Game 1 on this Skarner, because right now I'm just not seeing it.
It's just so tough to walk past a Shen and a Zac to try and catch an Orianna and an Ashe who are going to play on such a distance from you. He's going to have to commit his flash, which is not up and available to him. And even if he does, there's just no damage yet on the Caitlyn, no damage yet on the Syndra. To take anyone down, it's going to have to be a very patient and farming game. But the soul spawning in 3 minutes is just not going to allow that for GamersOrigin. They're going to have to take a fight very close to that dragon spawning, or LDLC will be able to snowball.
And Snowball is very much walking down the end of the street, all the way down the mountain and straight into the house of GamersOrigin. They need to find some kind of way of stalling, like you said, a steal, something, a pick, anything to try and slow this game down. Because right now it's LDLC who are in charge of the pace, and they are going into 5th gear, ramming themselves straight in head all the way to a victory to try and get themselves into that semi-final against Gamer Legion. But right now, once you're in it, it's not over till the Nexus explodes. And we've seen both teams really show their strengths in both the previous games of coming back, keeping themselves ahead. I want to see GamersOrigin try and go for that as well. I want to see them try and push forward and get themselves back into this. Because I know they won't be happy with it either. As I say that, Flash has to be burned. They do use YellOwStaR's Tempered Fate. And toucouille had to use his Flash.
It's going to be extremely hard for toucouille to play the next fights then, because one more jump from the Zac is all it's going to take with an Orianna Bolt to completely decimate toucouille from where he stands. He's one whole item behind for Vetheo right now. I just want to see some action on the side lane. Someone to shadow Shemek and take Bando out of the picture, because Bando has 2 teleports to join the fight whenever he wants. You take him out of the picture, he can't use any. You need to try and find a pick. If you keep on waiting for the waves to just run in, LDLC are just going to completely starve you out of any resources. They're not only going to take the dragon and the soul, they're not only going to take the Baron, they're going to stab you out of your jungle, and at some point you're going to be faced against giants. Not the ones that stayed out in the previous best of 3, these kind of giants.
These giants, the one like TynX, who as Zac, as his more health he gains, the bigger his champion model becomes. A literal giant as such. One of the few champions that changes size with health, Cho'Gath being another one. Can't really think of anyone else, but I think that's it. But overall, game has definitely slowed down. You can feel LDLC just want to try and move themselves towards that, Mountain Soul in a minute's time. They have picked themselves up a QSS onto Vetheo, one of the most important carries on their team, and I feel like they're going to try and get Exakick onto that, onto that train of QSSs to make sure he's safe as well, because you do not want anyone to get caught out before this next Drake.
And I was just wondering, I'm like, is Vetheo gonna go straight up for the Magi's, or is he gonna be more respectful, if you will, of bluezor getting a pick of him and go for the QSS? bluezor and Hustlin.
Ooh, and there is the Chanted Crystal Arrow. They're gonna be able to kill off HustlinbeasT pretty damn easily. He pops himself into the stasis, nothing can do, but toucouille gets caught by the Tempered Fate. They're going to have to commit so much of this to try and keep him alive, but I don't think they can. It's a double kill for Vetheo, and screw the dragon, you don't need it, you can take the Baron.
With that Baron, it's going to be extremely hard for GamersOrigin to even stay in their base. The top side of the map for LDLC is undying. 0 deaths for TynX, Bando, and Vetheo. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. GamersOrigin are starved off of gold. They're starved off of items, and they're going to be starved yet again for a chance to go to the semifinals.
He tried the TP and then the Baron said no. Baron giving GamersOrigin a little bit of a lifeline there. Thank you so much, observers. He tried the TP.
Got them some slack.
Again, but like that's the thing. I feel like that TP was intended to try and just delay the Dragon take. They wanted to take their cake and eat it on the side of LDLC, but the Baron said no. You take one or the other. You trade. You do not get both. But all it does is really enable or delay the inevitable, I feel, from the side of, GamersOrigin. They've stopped the Dragon Soul for now, but they have to deal with a Baron.
The thing here is that GamersOrigin, again, are going in as two, and LDLC instantly pull the trigger with more bodies around the top side of the river. No one is close enough for GamersOrigin, and while toucouille goes too close to help, gets caught by the bad ult and pays the ultimate price as well, which in the end is a double kill going over to Vetheo and a Baron. At the start we said, you know what does GamersOrigin want? They want to show off that if they did have the Friends final in the spring split, they were able to beat LDLC. LDLC did go to the final, they were crowned the winners, they are the reigning champions. So what do they want from these EU Masters? Well, a crowned king wants to keep their throne, nothing else. So for LDLC, anything other than winning the back-to-back EU Masters wouldn't be a success.
It feels like it's kind of a, I won't say a hollow victory for whoever wins this, but if as an LFL fan, you got to be feeling a little hard done by.
You're like, come on, man, we wanted these at the finals.
Not even just that, but like these are obviously two very solid teams coming in from the LFL, proving how strong they are as a region. toucouille try to just bait basically Bando over, and they're going to go for it, but is he going to die straight away anyway? They do drop the Tempered Fate. toucouille should be able to get out of this one alive. They are not able to save Bando, and eventually they back away. But like you said,
however,
it's just a Baron, but there's too much dealing with here, and you can see as we pan down, TynX and Vetheo have just been pushing into this bottle, and they've broken open the base.
I think slowly but surely this is what GamersOrigin should have been doing all this time, especially when the second item was completed for SMILEY right there. It took them a little while to try and hit Bando on a side lane, but they did manage to cash in on that juicy shutdown. I'm not sure who got it. I want to say it was possibly SMILEY. It's going to be the most useful on your ADC at this point. Your Caitlyn needs the third item to start putting down the pain. But again, it just looks so rough. 9,000 gold difference between these two teams and a bunch of items.
9,000 gold difference, hell of a lot of items. However, there are silver linings. You're starting to get to those late game levels where ornaments start to come in. You have the Molten Edge now on top of Caitlyn. That's an extra 1,000 gold-ish on stats there. You've got yourselves the 2 Ornn upgrades on himself as well, as we can see Shen just hovering in the bot side.
Something.
They're going to put in the, oh, it's the full-on jump in with the Zac into the shockwave, and the Shen jumps in just for good measure. There's a double kill straight down, and that could just be it for GamersOrigin. They've lost pretty much their entire bot lane and the jungler, and toucouille's not even in the base. He's going to get Tempered Fate. It's a little bit out of sync there with TynX, but it doesn't matter. They're just going to try and push him forward. Flash in, Ignite, TynX gets the kill, and it's going to be only the Ornn left alive, and no, you shall join your brothers in death and the gray screen. 45-second death timers across the board, and it's going to be LDLC with an emphatic victory over the GamersOrigin brothers and sisters. They will continue their run to try and keep themselves as the current world EU Masters champions. I got a little excited.
Anything than a back-to-back crown would be unsuccessful by LDLC. Came into the first game extremely underwhelming. We didn't know what face of LDLC we were gonna get. We didn't get a good one. Second game runs in, we see the same thing and something clicks. We say this is not the LDLC we were expecting. They turned on, they didn't let go. These look like the Spring Split 2020 champions.
These guys honestly look fantastic, and again, like we said, they're going from strength to strength. Week 1, very dodgy. 1 and 2 didn't look fantastic. Lost to Samsung Morningstars, no offense to them. But again and again, we're seeing them go from strength to strength to strength. And I feel like it's just, it feels like it's almost building its own narrative of defending champions being able to defend their title in the final, potentially. And they've got themselves to top 4. That's one other step towards that title.
I just want to say that I'm really happy to see Bando perform that well. I think he's been sort of, you know, the piñata of Twitter, sort of the guy that everyone is criticizing. You know, he's not having the greatest performances, but now he won them that second game. He was the guy who dived the backline and turned a 6,000 gold deficit into a victory. I think he deserves props here because he turned that game around. Had that not been turned around, LDLC would have been out long ago.
Yeah, we have to wait. And, you know, it's all if, buts, and maybes. But at the end of the day, LDLC are the winners of today's best of 3. With that, the defending champions secure the first LFL spot in the semi-finals. We'll be right back with YellOwStaR to break down that game and look forward to tomorrow. Another win for the LFL. Unfortunately, it is at the hands of another LFL team going down. However, LDLC looked good in that game 3.
They looked bad, then they looked questionable, then they looked absolutely brilliant.
Just
it's
warming
like
up.
they just needed one game just to get into it. You know, it's the official scrim, how we call it. They had in game 1 versus GamersOrigin. I believe though that GamersOrigin did push them to the limit as well.
And I want to highlight as well, this Zac pick for TynX. TynX hadn't got an amazing series so far. Kind of halfway towards the second game, he was kind of starting looking like the guy we recognize. But this Zac pick, he felt unbelievable on it. He just was able to do so much, just open up the map for so many people. And again, I don't want to, you know, kick a dog while it's down, but it felt like GamersOrigin kind of felt routine. Like you said, we called out that first early level 1 or level 3 invade onto the blue side. They had a ward, they spotted it out, they knew what it was going to do regardless of the vision, and they acted accordingly. And I feel like LDLC, they deserve full props for this. They deserve this win.
It's like they knew what was going to happen before it even happened. It kind of felt way too repetitive, like you mentioned as well. And even if bluezor hadn't been spotted at all on a ward, they would know exactly what his movement would be like. Oh boy. It's like we're having the, as Gobo would call them, the mad scientists of Gamer Legion, the most unorthodox compositions in League of Legends you will ever get to see versus LDLC.
We're gonna have to talk now with LDLC's support, YellOwStaR. YellOwStaR, can you hear us?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, congratulations on your win. And overall, how do you feel you guys performed on the series?
I mean, I think we did quite well, considering that GamersOrigin was a good team. Like, it was a tense series. Like, it went to 3 games, and yeah, I think everyone played good, and it feels good to win.
All right, I'm going to take it from here, and I want to ask you, what happened in game number 2, and who called that mid lane fight where it's like literally you switched something, and from 6K, you took that fight in the mid lane. Who called that? What happened there?
I mean, their team composition was like straightforward, and I mean, they had the lead, so they could basically like try to do whatever they want to, and we were trying to find a way to come back, and we were just trying to fight front to back, and it worked once, twice, and then with the TP flank, it was just very good, and we came back from there, and Bando played it well, so I'm really happy about that because we felt behind, but still doable.
Was it kind of like the momentum switch that you needed, sort of to reset your mental from game number 1?
Yeah, I mean, the game number 1 was like not even close. I mean, it was close, but they had the upper hand. And like when we won the fight in game 2, the first fight, we were like, okay, we can do it. And we just keep on going, and it worked well for us. So we just keep doing it.
You guys run them down. Game number 3 comes over, and there's this Skarner bait where it's like bluezor picks Skarner, he wins the game. TynX picks Skarner, he wins the game. You go into game number 3. What was the plan? Did you bait bluezor into taking the Skarner, you just snatched the Orianna away from toucouille?
Pretty much when you're playing a series, like you need to adapt throughout the series, the game, and pretty much it was contested pick, and that's why they actually first rotation it on the first game. And they take it away from us, and we knew, so we didn't ban it out because we had counters, and they fell for it, and it was all planned.
It's great to hear that you guys went into game 3 with a plan, of course. And what I want to know is, of course, the LFL is still going on as of right now, and you're also playing in EU Masters. How has that been for the team? Has it been exhausting? Do you guys relish the challenge? Like, what's it like in the team camp having 2 major competitions at the same time?
I find it very nice in a way that we actually get good practice, because scrims is something, and then you have official games, which is another thing, and it gives you actually good practice. And obviously, like both competitions are our main focus, but we have less chances in EU Masters since like we are in the knockout stage, so we need to do less mistakes, and it's, let's say, not exhausting because we are still practicing, and we are like fighting against teams that have different styles. So we have like really good practice, and we need to be ready for any teams.
I just have to ask you, you're coming in as the reigning champions. What does success look like for LDLC? Now that you've already been crowned, you're coming into here, this tournament, the summer split. Is it finals, or is it winning it all back to back?
I mean, obviously, like we're here for a reason, and we are aiming to defend our title. We would like to go for the second one and win it all, and we really strive for the victory. So it would be pretty disappointing for us to actually not win it, but we need to work hard because like Geo was a really nice team. They fought hard, and we are obviously still in a tournament where they are like the best teams outside of LEC. So we need to step up to actually win.
That's great to hear. I'm glad to know that you guys are coming in with a winning mentality now. Obviously, you're in the semi-finals. You got Glamour Legion coming on, but we got to look at tomorrow and the rest of the other side of the bracket. We've got a Go Rogue versus Misfits Premier and Mouse Sports versus Kick NeoSurf. I want to get your take. Who do you think's the strongest out of those 4 teams, kind of on the other side? Who you might see in the final?
It's hard to tell. Like really, anything can happen. I think Agorog is quite good. I hope Misfit is gonna fight and win because they are from LFL, so we support French teams. And obviously, like Mouse and Kick is going to be really interesting because they all have good individuals.
That's great to hear. And YellOwStaR, thank you. Congratulations on your win today. We look forward to seeing you guys in the semi-finals and hopefully potentially the finals. And that's all we're going to have time for today, ladies and gentlemen. Please stay tuned for the rebroadcast of twitch.tv/EU Masters if you missed any of today's action. But from myself, from Trouble, and from YellOwStaR, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much.